Hello everyone, this is A is for America, and thanks for tuning in to my video tour of the Bel-Air Motor Courts Hotel. Not much is actually known about the hotel itself. Really all that I've been able to find about it is that it was opened sometime in the 50s and 60s, and presumably it closed sometime between then and probably the 90s or so. Maybe before that. Regardless of when it opened, it's sat at the same place at East Scott Street, just east of downtown Wichita Falls. These are some of the nearby motels and hotels. This is the American Legion Post out on East Scott Street. And this is a local treasure, at least it was until it closed a year or so ago. It was the Browse Shop. This was the place to go if you wanted boots, if you needed spurs, if you needed anything cowboy, anything western, anything like that at all. This is where you went. There's a beautiful mural on this wall, and unfortunately they painted over it when they closed. So now it's just free real estate. The nearby Triple D Motel, fenced off to the public. There seemed to be someone living there because there were no trespassing signs everywhere, and I could hear noises inside the building. A lot of thick brush surrounds this hotel. This is just next door to the hotel, sort of junkyard. There's quite a few in this neighborhood of town, and strangely enough, right next door to the Bel-Air Hotel is the Chevrolet Bel-Air. It's certainly seen better days. The sign in all of its glory. As you walk onto the property, this is one of the first things you see. The main door to the office. Over yonder would have been the parking lot, or it would have been a gravel parking lot, but that's where he would have parked. National Motor Club approved. And this will lead us right back into the office quarters. Not many people know this, but back in the day, Wichita Falls was the training camp for the Dallas Cowboys. And anyone who tells you that will subsequently tell you that it was back when they actually won Super Bowls. So there's that. And this strange door that I can't figure out. Some kind of, maybe a mail delivery? Something? Random assortment of mugs. A bit of the Torah for some reason. Not where I would put the Old Testament, on the floor of a motel, but wasn't my call to make. Over the 20, maybe even 40 years that this place has been closed, the owners have kind of stockpiled all of the original carpeting and furniture, as we'll see later, but that essentially was the carpet room. In places like these, you always see the strangest assortment of objects. But they all got there in their own way somehow, some form or another. Doesn't show up very well, but there was a vintage Pizza Hut sticker on that dresser. And as expected, small hornets' nests everywhere, thankfully mostly empty. When I go through places like these, I try to imagine who the people were that were running this place and what the customers would say when they walked in, what food they were serving, what was the smell when you walked in. It's hard to look past the random junk, mold, and occasional drug needle, but just a lifetime ago, this place was very enjoyable for any visitor in town. Wichita Falls actually has a fantastic history with different motor courts, motels, hotels, all of that. Of course, it's the economy in terms of motels and hotels in Wichita Falls has been decimated since then, and really now the only reason we ever need more than a normal amount of hotels in a small town like this is for the annual Hotter Than Hell bike race, when tens of thousands of bikers from around the country, around the world, come to Wichita Falls to compete in this race. And for people who can't host cyclists, these hotels definitely come in handy. But back in the day, Wichita Falls really was a tourist destination. Whether you were visiting family or you were on business for the many oil companies in the area, any of those things could have brought you to Falls Town. In this room, all sorts of piles of upholstery, presumably from the furniture. That's my guess. Just love this wood paneling here in this room. It's very vintage. I've always loved that vintage wood paneling on the wall. My grandmother always called it cheap. And here we're about to step out into the cantina area. Bar, cantina, whatever you want to call it. There were ovens and stoves and dishwashers, all sorts of appliances everywhere. I don't know if these are all native to the hotel, or if the owners just kind of found them from other places and this is kind of like the junk spot, so to speak. But just behind those stoves there is the cantina, which we'll get a good view at in a second. Another stockpile room is coming up on the right. I'm gonna assume this is all paint. If not paint, maybe some kind of oil or other chemicals, but this seems to be the place for it. I'm gonna venture a guess and say this is almost all paint. So I love the aqua blue paint scheme that's all over this building. And as we'll see throughout this video, there are just blue sinks, blue bunks, blue ladders for the bunks, blue light switches, blue walls. It's very tranquil color. And here's a larger look at the cantina, which I was not able to walk into. Actually, it's chock full of different fixtures. And here's some more of those stoves I was referring to. East Scott Street is really unique part of Wichita Falls, because nowhere else in town will you see so many vintage, just mid-century modern motel and hotel signs. Just very colorful, very vibrant, very Art Deco. This is a photographer's waypoint, so to speak. Blue vacuum. Probably older than me. Many more paint buckets. And just behind those paint buckets are the restrooms, presumably for the pool. I know it's hard to tell, but there was once a pool here in the grass. But to the right of where we're looking now is the restrooms. I admittedly did not want to go inside because they're very dark, very crowded, and I have no idea what could be in there. Hornets, bees. I just wasn't into wagering a fight with some bees. But this part here was a little wider open. Many refrigerators too. Refrigerators. I even found a freezer from the 1940s. It's very beautiful. And some kind of saint placard. I'm not really sure. Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about right there. There's a lot in there, and I just didn't want to go in too far. I went in far enough to get a good camera angle, but after that I wanted to go ahead and get back out into the open. So here we're walking through presumably more part of the office building, and over here on the shelf you can actually see the smoke alarms. Hopefully those were taken off the walls after this place was decommissioned. Another refrigerator. I just had to see what was inside it out of curiosity. Sometimes it's not pleasant. But right where the camera's looking now, towards those bushes, in the middle of that grass lawn was once a pool. I saw 2 or 3 tractors, or some kind of earth movers while I was here. I even saw a sort of steamroller. Oh, well, that's coming up in a second. Yes, we saw the paint cans already. Comment down below if you had a computer this big. This is inside the tool shack there. Again, not much to see. I didn't want to risk it. So, but yes, directly where I'm walking now, right in front of me is where the pool would have been. Yes, okay, there's the steamroller. Can't say exactly what that would have been used for. Flattening something. I'm sure somebody knows. Just very interesting assortment of things in this yard. This isn't the first time I've seen a pool filled in with dirt. If anyone in Wichita Falls remembers Sea Blue over on Cypress Avenue, that was filled in with dirt maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It was sad to see it go, but it had been closed for several years, so I don't think anybody was missing it anymore, unfortunately. It was a nice family-owned, locally owned water park. Great snack bar. I found this bus so intriguing. I have heard of Calvary Baptist Church. I can't say off the top of my head where it is, but I just had to take a look inside. 50-50 chance of running into a homeless person. Very pretty couch. I don't know how they got it in there though. I'm just dumbfounded how they were able to get it in there. 'Cause that emergency exit door is not that wide. And in all my years, I don't think I've ever sat in a bus driver's seat, so humor me for a few seconds. Almost 200,000 miles on this bus. Really think it could have gone farther. Cassette player. Very nice intact gear shifter. And staple of 20th century cars, the ashtray. I was very excited to see that the door handle still worked. Albeit on one door, but you know, what are you gonna do? This car has probably been here since last century. When I was sitting there in this bus seat, I was thinking about how much those fans would be nice to be turned on right now. It was near 100 degrees and it wasn't even noon yet. Got to love Texas. Intricate button system here, but I'm sure if you drove this thing long enough, you'd get the hang of it. I thought this was a cigarette lighter, so you'll see me pull it out, or try to. Yeah, but it's actually the lights, so I can't say I've seen that before. But then again, how often do you drive a vintage car or bus? Here's the view of the hotel from the opposite side of the lawn, and there is what it looked like in its heyday. The pool prominently in the middle of the property. Wish it was like that. This Ford here I found particularly interesting because it bears the name of a local business, Casa Mañana, home of the Red Taco. They've been in business since, I want to say, 48, and they're still going strong. I'm proud to report they're still going strong. They're over on 8th Street, I believe, right next to Holt Hotel. This air conditioning unit definitely looks aftermarket. I just found that interesting. Sunroof. Completely bare interior. I'm not sure if that's how they all came or if there was some sort of insulation. And the inspection stickers are 22 years late. Shameful. This green bus with an inspection sticker that's 20 years old. It seems so familiar, like I've seen it in a TV show or something. Is it Men in Black, maybe? Anyway, it's completely filled with insulation in the back. And that's going to do it for part 1. In part 2, we'll explore the back quarter of the property where the hotel rooms were. And we'll kind of see several different vehicles that have been left by the owner, different stacks of doors, windows, beds, just very interesting stuff to come. So a couple more vintage cars as well. So thanks for watching, everyone, and hope you enjoyed the video, and be blessed.